Hi again. Now that we've identified and recruited leaders and developed structures to build our snowflakes around our leadership, we're ready to take action. In this lesson, we'll talk about what we mean by collective action. We'll learn about how to ask people to commit to action and how to design tactics that motivate others to keep taking action over time. So first, what is collective action? In organizing, the goal of collective action is to effectively mobilize and deploy our resources in ways that build our power. Effective actions should achieve the following three outcomes. First, they should make concrete, measurable progress towards our aim. Second, they should attract and engage new people, increasing our capacity and our ability to effect change. And third, they should build leadership through individual growth. In organizing, we design and measure the success of each action based on these three criteria. Remember, organizing begins with ourselves, accepting responsibility, finding courage, understanding our calls to action. It then moves to others, to building relationships with and enabling them. Our shared purpose is built on why it matters. Our strategies define how to get from where we are to where we want to be, and our structures enable us to do the work. But it is action that rearranges things, that reshapes our environments. Action's the whole point. Without action, none of the rest matters. To underscore this point, I have to quote Terry Jowers, director of the Healthy Columbia campaign in Columbia, South Carolina. Whenever I talk about action, I can hear Terry in my head. Quote, "Awareness is an action. Training is an action. Information sharing is an action. Action is action." Look, in population health and quality improvement work, we're asking people to commit to some kind of behavioral change that leads towards our measurable aim. That is the action. It's not distributing pamphlets or making people aware, although that might be a tool or tactic to get us started. Ultimately, it's about engaging people to commit to the new behavior. Action is action. Okay, so everything we've done builds to this point, but let's take one step back. Why is collective action so important? For three reasons. First, we cannot achieve our measurable aims on our own. We need other leaders to join us. Leaders engage others in collective action by asking them to make explicit commitments to achieve our measurable aims. And because we depend on people's voluntary commitments, our actions themselves must motivate commitment while maintaining accountability. Actions aren't just tasks that we ask others to execute for us. They are extremely strategic. It's important to design and implement actions that develop relationships and celebrate shared values, focus on collaboration between stakeholder groups and early actions, and facilitate collective energy and orientation. Making the action happen, measuring how we did, and communicating it transparently, that keeps us accountable to our goals. Second, each action builds momentum by contributing to a platform of shared accomplishments that demonstrate our success. Showing people how they generate outcomes together is critical to keeping people engaged. Each action, day by day, week by week, produces collective and measurable outcomes toward our aims. These outcomes in turn feed more outcomes, many of which are not planned for or anticipated as they're real-time responses to our constraints and our opportunities. Secondary outcomes can also result from the relationships formed between stakeholders, and it's important to raise these up as part of our story of us. Third, actions are opportunities for measurement, evaluation, and emergent learning. This requires leaders who are willing to learn, willing to coach, and who are comfortable with ambiguity. It also requires infrastructure to feed learning back to the group's ongoing strategizing process. I want to underscore this point. When many people contribute to an effort, they share in its successes and learn from its failures. Either way, it's their victory or loss, not someone else's. This learning in turn creates motivation and a sense of ownership that facilitates accountability. So in summary, it's important to be mindful of collective action because the way we mobilize our resources affects how we deploy them, and the way we deploy them affects how they're mobilized. When everyone feels they have something to contribute, they have something to contribute. That's why it's critical that when we mobilize resources, we measure and communicate how much each person's action serves as one small step towards collective outcomes, and as we deploy resources, that we design our actions to motivate people to keep coming back. Later in this lesson, we're going to look really specifically at how to engage others in collective action. But first, let's talk about our actions themselves.